Hello everyone and welcome to today's video. Today I'd like to showcase my Dragonknight PvP healer with you. This build in particular has been a lot of fun for me because it's defied my regular expectations of the Dragonknight class, not being a decent support for PvP environments. I took some time lately to sit down and look at how this class could thrive in a support role, and how this build has actually thoroughly surprised me. First off, let's go over the race, Mundustone, food, and attribute points. In my build, I play a Nord and this is suboptimal, but it's still a very good choice for a Dragonknight in general. While a Nord does not benefit from any spare magicka, damage, or regeneration, they do have extra health and stamina, ult gen, and resistances in general. Of course, you're just as well off choosing a Breton, High or Dark Elf, or even an Argonian. Therefore, in this build, I am playing a Nord, and there are a few things that you can change if you play another race. For the Mundustone, I chose the Mage. You could do just as well with the Atronach or the Apprentice here. I don't ever use the Ritual Stone. I think personally it can be outdone with extra spell damage, and that extra 10% doesn't outweigh just having more spell damage anyway. In my build, I chose the Mage to offset the factor I don't have any racial bonuses to boost my magicka pool. Other races will be better off with the Apprentice or Atronach stones. For my food, I chose the Witchmother's Potent Brew. Provides a nice boost to my magicka, health, and magicka recovery. Both my magicka and health pools sit over 30k, and that's a great point for PvP. Now I'd like to cover the gear in the build. I'm using 5 pieces of Heavy Naga Shaman. It's a 2-trait crafted set out of the Murkmire DLC, and it plays heavily into the Dragonknight's strengths. It adds 1 line of healing taken, 1 line of healing done, a line of max mage. The 5-piece on the set is what absolutely smashes it for us. Applying a damage shield to yourself or an ally will grant minor mending and vitality, granting you 8% healing done and received every 6 seconds. This bonus has no cooldown, it's insanely easy to keep up. Then, on our jewels and front bar, we use the Robes of Transmutation. This is another 5-piece setup that's very easy to keep up with a strong buff on that 5th piece. You see here we have 2 lines of magicka recovery, a line of crit chance, and then when you heal yourself or an ally with a heal over time ability, you grant them 1367 crit resist for 5 seconds. Mitigates burst damage very well. It's a very easy thing to keep up. The monster set we run on this build is Earthgore. We run 2 pieces of light. Now if you run a magicka race, feel free to change these pieces to heavy. I use the light on my Nord character for the decrease in spell cost and a little bit of extra regen. As a Nord, I offset that tankiness that I lose from not putting those pieces in heavy. Now Earthgore is going to give you an extra 4% healing done as your first piece bonus, and then your second piece, anytime you heal yourself or an ally under 50% health, you're going to give them a huge tick. It's going to give them a bunch of health back, it's going to cleanse the ground underneath them, remove those negative effects. Very big proc, it's going to go off pretty consistently if the conditions are met, and it's going to save lives without a doubt. Now for our back bar restoration staff, I'm using the Master's Perfected Restoration Staff. You get this from running Dragonstar Arena on Veteran difficulty. Running it on normal denies you the little extra bit of max magicka from the perfected version, but that's absolutely okay because that little bit of max magicka is not a make or break point in the build. The 2-piece will give you an initial heal of Grand Healing invigorates you and your group members affected for 4 seconds, restoring 117 magicka and stamina every second. This is pretty easy to keep up. It's going to help you sustain, going to keep you casting spells, keep you maintaining those damage shields to keep your Naga Shaman up. Now for the traits in our armor, all your big pieces, head, body, and feet, or legs, should always be reinforced, and your small pieces should be impenetrable. The enchantments on your big pieces should always be tri-stat, and your little pieces should be max magicka. On your jewelry, I run the arcane trait on all 3 pieces, with magicka recovery and chance. If you are a magicka race, you can go ahead and change these arcane pieces into a infused trait if you so wish. On our sword and board bar, I have a hardening enchant with a defending trait on that sword. Hardening enchant might just proc an extra little damage shield. Won't be for much, but it's enough to keep Naga Shaman running. Keeps you having that extra heal percentage on your allies, yourself. Shield, max magicka enchant, you can go tri-stat if you feel like it. Impenetrable here. And on our back restoration bar, I have a weapon damage enchant with infused. Feel free to run power there just as well. Now let's start with our skills on the front bar. We're going to start with Overflowing Altar from the Undaunted tree. Provides you minor lifesteal and a nice 65% health restore synergy to your allies. Next we have Cauterize, nice little burst heal, provides a spell and weapon crit buff. Hardened Armor, it's your major resolve, gives you a nice little damage shield on yourself to proc Naga Shaman. Then we have Fragmented Shield, it's small AoE damage shield. It procs Major Mending, and this is very important. Major Mending will stack with your Minor Mending from Naga Shaman. You have 24% extra healing when you have these 2 things up. And the more you can sustain it, you have these up, you have 24% extra heals almost all the time. The very extra healing. Then we have Igneous Weapons. It's a large radius, 54-second major brutality and sorcery buff. Gives you extra damage, bumps up your heals, which are already buffed up by the minor and major mending. You're going to be outputting a lot of heals here. Then for ult on this sword and board bar, we're using Aggressive Horn. An extra 10% max magicka and stamina for 30 seconds, and it gives you and your allies major force. An extra 20% critical damage for 9 seconds. This can very much turn the tide of a fight, provides a huge offensive window. I've been using this in Cyrodiil, and the amount of times I just pop this Warhorn, and it turns the tide of a fight right in front of me, it's amazing. Now on our back bar here, first skill, Healing Springs. I use this for the extra magic it restores. On top of the Master's Restoration Staff, you restore a lot of magicka every time you cast a spell and it's healing someone. Radiating Regeneration, your standard Restoration Staff heal. Can't go without it. Energy Orb from the Undaunted. Nice little orb, floats around, heals people. Nice synergy to restore resources and health. Cinderstorm, it's a little more of a flex spot, but I like it. Especially in Cyrodiil, you can control choke points very well with that 70% snare, and it does a nice little heal that lasts 18 seconds. Inner Light, I have this for that critical buff and the max magicka buff from the skill itself, and from the Mage's Guild passive here that gives you extra max magicka and recovery for having that slotted. Then, for our ult, we use Reviving Barrier from the support tree. Big shield, it's going to proc your shaman again, and it also heals over time. It's very effective to have all these damage shields up. You're going to keep your Naga Shaman rolling at all times, bunch of extra heal output, and you have the sustain to continue casting these spells. Now, we want to check our CP as well. Let's start with the green tree. First, we have Sustaining Shadows. Now most of what you have in the green tree isn't going to make a huge difference to your combat. I have this just in case I'm creeping around the keep or, Rationer, a little extra time on food or drink buffs. Steed's Blessing, out of combat movement speed. Liquid efficiency, if I use a potion or poison, 10% chance not to consume it. Now to our blue tree, which is more important. I start with Untamed Aggression. Extra 150 weapon and spell damage, buffs up my heals a little more. Dragonknight is a very easy class to stack damage on, and that also increases the amount of healing you're going to output. Ironclad reduces your direct damage taken 10%. Nice little thing to have in PvP when people are smacking you up. From the Brink. Now this is something I've overlooked so many times until I tried playing this build. When you heal yourself or an ally under 25% health, you grant them a damage shield that absorbs 25-30 damage per stage for 6 seconds. This can occur every 30 seconds per target. Now once you morph it to the max stage, it will absorb up to 11,000 damage, halved in PvP. It's about 5,500 shield. That shield, on top of your already stacked heals, saves a lot of people from an untimely death. I've been using this on this build. It has been absolutely a blast. It'll proc your Naga Shaman just as well, so you can have it proc off a damage shield that applies automatically. You don't even have to cast a shield on somebody. I absolutely love playing with this now. And Arcane Supremacy. A little bit of extra magicka in the pool. Since I'm a Nord, I kinda need it. Our red tree here, we start off with Boundless Vitality. Extra health for the healer, can't hurt. Shield Master, since we're using a lot of damage shield abilities, get this to reduce your costs. This also works on your barrier, takes that alt cost down by 25 points from 250 to 225. Great slot here. Bastion, since we're using so many damage shields, why not buff the hell out of them? An extra 15% effectiveness to your damage shields, and an extra 50% damage done to enemy damage shields. You're not going to be doing a ton of damage anyway, but that's there. And Fortified for that extra armor buff. And that is how to build this crazy Dragonknight that I've been using in Cyrodiil for the past couple of weeks. Been having an absolute blast with this build. I hope you guys have thoroughly enjoyed. Let me have a like or comment on the video, see what you think, and I'll see you all next time.